Hello class, my name is Griffin Berg and I will be doing my oral presentation for the senior thesis over the importance of freshwater sustainability and preventing pollution. So let's get started with the abstract. Freshwater pollution and the damage that is being done to our environment, as well as one of our main resources for survival, is something that needs more attention. 71% of our planet is made up of water and only 3% is freshwater. Of that 3%, 2.5% is already unavailable due to ice caps and pollution. This is a huge issue because we're treating this 3% as if it will never disappear or cause problems in our daily lives. The results from research about the critical damage done by human impact and lack of awareness on the freshwater crisis throughout different parts of the world is very frightening. By digging deeper into specific human impacts such as urban growth and irrigation farming, the research addresses that if we do not change guidelines and laws against how they impact freshwater ecosystems, the freshwater source will continue to deplete until there is no longer a sanitary water resource for life. Research results from different water acts have shown positive effects in the fight to sustain freshwater. Spreading awareness about better ways to reuse and recycle freshwater in our society can influence the way people use freshwater in their daily lives, including that following strict water guidelines and spreading awareness to everyone around the world about these improved ways to reuse and recycle freshwater can have a huge effect on sustaining freshwater ecosystems for quality life in the future. If the world does not find new ways of sustaining freshwater and protecting freshwater ecosystems, it will soon be overwhelmed by population growth and no longer have a sustainable water source for humans to live. Environmental studies give the necessary information about how urban growth is affecting climate change, causing our main source of fresh water, ice glaciers, to melt at a higher rate. By spreading awareness on climate change and global warming, people will realize that sea levels will keep rising, which will cause saltwater to reach our freshwater areas and contaminate the water we use on a daily basis. So the disciplines I used for this were organizational leadership and environmental studies. And a question off of organizational leadership is, how can organizational leadership impact the way we sustain freshwater? So organizational leadership for the freshwater crisis is something that has had a huge effect on managing the freshwater we have left. Governments, businesses, and agricultural farmers hold a huge responsibility in spreading awareness to people of their society so that they are well aware of how catastrophic this issue really is. However, there are governments taking action to control this crisis, like New Zealand. New Zealand's government has policies in place in order to help stop freshwater pollution, as well as prioritize their freshwater resources. According to the Australian Journal of Agriculture and Resource Economics, agricultural irrigation has increased 55% per decade since 1965 and is not slowing down. In order to work to lower this, the government issued the Resource Management Act of 1991, which guides allocation management of freshwater in New Zealand and delegates management responsibility to regional councils. These councils then can determine plans and statements on how the water can be allocated and specify environmental guidelines. On top of that, resource consents must be gained in order to take, use, dam, or divert water resources. So this is a huge help to kind of get everyone on board throughout and see the actual necessities that go in within these consents. And so another question is, how can different organizations around the world help spread awareness on this crisis? Organizational leadership as a discipline helps not only create guidelines for protecting freshwater resources, but also spreading the awareness to other countries that are looking for different ways to sustain the resource, as well as the countries that have not yet faced this issue firsthand. Some countries are in great need of help from organizations in order to create a plan to help slow the pace of water pollution. According to the studies, Water Scarcity in Agriculture, the Water Project uses techniques in water management like rain catchment systems and weirs or sand dams to irrigate and harvest the freshwater. Organizations can use these techniques and help influence governments into spreading these ideas into their societies. It can help develop a new way of managing freshwater and slow the rapid pace of pollution. So now on to environmental studies. So how will the freshwater crisis affect humans as well as ecosystems? Well, so environmental studies show the impacts humans have on our freshwater ecosystems and why freshwater scarcity is now one of the biggest problems we face as a society. Human impacts such as urban growth, construction of hydroelectric dams, and irrigation projects are causing a massive disruption in climate change and the way our ecosystems thrive and nourish the surrounding food source. Studies show the speed at which the world's glaciers are melting has doubled in almost 20 years. Between 2000 and 2019, the spread of glaciers melting has doubled and caused a 21% sea rise. With the rate at which the sea is rising, sea levels will begin to flow into freshwater ecosystems, which will cause flooding and the quality of these surface area resources to be contaminated with salt and soils, making it unusable to people. With temperatures rising from global warming, these glaciers will continue to melt at a fast rate, causing huge freshwater problems for surrounding areas. So what are some ways we can help sustain our freshwater resources? So with environmental studies as a discipline, it shows the different causes of disruption in the freshwater crisis. Our world is growing at a rapid pace, and with more people coming into the world means more freshwater is going to be required to sustain a healthy life. So by focusing on the research given from different environmental studies, the world can work on new and improved systems of irrigation like the drip irrigation. Drip irrigation is a process where water is saved by dripping slowly and directly to the roots of the plants. This is a more sustainable way to irrigate crops. And studies show the effects of drip irrigation promotion policies on water use and irrigation costs in Valencia, Spain. Drip irrigation has been included in the Green Morocco Plan and the Australian Irrigated Farm Modernization Programs. This will work to spread the plan to all countries in need of sustaining freshwater areas. So to come to a conclusion, between my two disciplines of organizational leadership and environmental studies, we find how each of them can work to better inform people of the ongoing issues of the freshwater crisis. By understanding the effects urban growth and industries have on the pollution to water, we find that it holds a huge responsibility for the crisis happening around the world in more underdeveloped countries. Joining organizations in the fight against unnecessary damming, irrigation, and urban growth is one that can help make a difference. Other options like spreading awareness on social media can also help people fully understand the damage being done. And by using organizational leadership to help pursue a more informative analysis on how these types of pollution hurt the ability to maintain the sustainable resource, it shows the potential leaders and organizations have on the issue at hand. Environmental studies shows firsthand how these things will come together to hurt this precious resource. Therefore, by finding the common ground between the two disciplines, they actually have some form of helping each other work against freshwater pollution and bringing up newfound ways of sustaining this resource. Thank you.